before, welcome back to the Laravel Meetup Group. Eric, John, they're over at Tech, so I'm running it all today. I'm also presenting today, so you're going to see a lot of me. But there's a small group, so please join in. We're all the family. Does my clicker work? It does. Eric's not here, but I am. Communicate with us. You all know about these things, I hope. You found us on Meetup. We're on Twitter. We tweet stuff. Slack is kind of where conversations happen. IRC bridges to Slack, so hop on, say hi. Next month, we are going to be doing Framework Lightning Talks downtown for SDPHP. I know that we have, I'm going to be doing Laravel. I got roped into that. We got Falcon, PHP. We have Symfony. Maybe somebody's doing Zen. There's another one in there. We have 4 or 5. So come learn about frameworks. And if you want to add on to the list, if you have something that you want to present, another PHP framework, talk to us. Next month, we are looking for a presenter. I know. Hey, how's it going? I know. Who was it? So it's Norm. Norm was thinking about talking about Docker, but I have to talk to Norm, see if he's still doing that. If you have any topics that you're doing in Laravel and something cool or interesting is happening and you want to talk about it, present. You don't have to be an expert like we always say. I am definitely not. Trello board, add topics. Look for topics that people want to see. I've removed all of the images there because they're all out of date. I think I'm going to just flush that Trello board out and start over because there's just a lot of old stuff on there. But latest news. Since the last time we met, we've moved up a few versions. The most important thing, though, is that 5.4.22 contains a security fix around password resets. So if you, that's a good idea to update. I know that fix was moved backwards into 5.1 as well because it's an LTS release. So. I was kind of going through and trying to find out other news from the community. Anything pop up? I didn't really see much that was like, this is super awesome. Nothing? Nothing exciting? No? Okay. Maybe next month. We have 5.5 coming out soonish, right? Those guys aren't here, so they don't get their promotion. Just kidding, they're a good podcast, listen to them. CARI.net, we are here. They provide the facility. There's some miscommunication. They were going to provide pizza, but they didn't today. We're still going to give them a round of applause, though. Thank you. None of them are here, but maybe they heard us from across the way. Dago Dev, we have one representative. Everyone else is abandoned. Anyways, they're also our sponsor. They gave us the beer. So that's the end of the introduction. Any questions? Probably not. Usually, we kind of have a break. People grab pizza. Again, there's no pizza and a bathroom break and all that, but we could just dive right into it if you guys are ready. Does that sound good? Okay. Holy crap, that looks terrible. Let me see. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Responding to Laravel events with Echo. Echo. First, is everybody familiar with events in Laravel? Familiar-ish? Basically, you can fire an event, and then you have some listeners on that event that fire and they do things. The classic example is the user registers. You fire the user registers event, and then you have like a welcome email that fires off in the listener, and then maybe some other stuff that happens. So it's really easy to work with events in Laravel, but it's also really easy to broadcast those events to the front-end framework that you might be using, or to your front end easily with Laravel Echo. That's really awkward to say. Broadcasts. So essentially what happens is Laravel broadcasts an event that's essentially the same thing as newing up and dispatching an event. And the JavaScript in the browser hears about it and reacts in some way. configuration overview. You're going to go ahead and be picking between Pusher or Redis and Socket.io. Pusher is a hosted SaaS application that handles your pub sub stuff for you, makes it really easy, and you get a nice dashboard. And then once you get kicked off their free tier, it costs some money, so it's good for just starting out, but maybe you want to move on to your own thing. I don't know, you can figure out. I don't know. You can also roll your own with Redis and Socket.io. I went the Pusher route. I didn't do this bit, but it seems like people are having success with that as well. So, configuration. As expected, your configuration is going to be handled in broadcast.php in the config directory. Set up a queue. If you're in development, just sync it, right? That's fine. And we're going to set up Echo, which is a separate package. And a separate package means that it's not included in that default package.json that comes with Laravel. So we're going to go through the steps really quick. Get a Pusher account, or whatever we're going to use in Pusher. That's a normal looking config file. Drop in your secrets and keys and IDs. One thing to notice, or one thing that I kind of messed up on is, I think I had this set to true, and I was actually not using an encrypted connection, so my authentication stuff was failing, and I was like, what is happening and why? That was set to true. Make sure that matches whatever your environment is. Start your queue, that's enough, and pull in the Laravel Echo and Pusher.js packages through npm, or, like the cool kids, use Yarn. Either way, just pull in those two packages. Now that we have those in our project, in the Laravel provided Bootstrap.js file, uncomment this section. It's already in there. You just have to uncomment it and add in your key and your cluster, and your configuration is about done. Are there any questions so far? What was that? The key. This one? Yeah, that one is. Yes, that is your key. Okay, so points of interest. The broadcast service provider, which comes with Laravel and is already pretty much configured for you, and your broadcast channels. So let's look at the broadcast service provider that comes with Laravel. There's going to be an app providers broadcast service provider. Yeah.
I have a question. Back when you said encrypted true, what error were you getting and how did you solve it? Why something false?
So later on the front end, I was like expecting a thing to get broadcast to the JavaScript, and it was just like, it was throwing authentication errors, I think. Either way, something in there was like, it's unauthenticated. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And when I looked at it, I was like, no, my code should work for this. And then going back through the configuration, I realized, like, oh, I set this to true, but I'm not actually using an encrypted connection. So yeah. User error. As expected. User error, developer error, whatever it is. Yeah, so here's our broadcast service provider. I feel like I was supposed to like uncomment this down here, but I think it comes already uncommented. Anyways, that broadcast routes function, that loads in a route called broadcasting/auth or something like that, that your front end can use to authenticate to that channel's file that we're going to be talking about in a minute. And then we pull in those routes there. Right? Types of broadcasts. We have a channel, which is public, a private channel, which is private, and a presence channel, which is also private. You could essentially, what we're going to do is we're either going to broadcast a thing and say, hey, this is just going out to the public, and anybody that has this open in the browser can receive it, or it's going out to some kind of a selected group where there's some kind of authentication behind it, or in front of it, or it's just a presence channel where we could say, it's kind of like a chat app. You log on and your little green light comes on and you see like, hey, this person's online. That's a presence channel. So you need to handle authentication for these two. With this one, you just kind of broadcast it and catch it on the front end with no worries. So the project that I decided to build it went terribly, guys. It was horrible. Don't ever try to build an application for a presentation because you're going to run out of time. Kind of works enough as an example. It's called Slips because why not? What it is it's a way. I had an idea a while ago. I work at a school, and we have these things called exit slips, and you probably remember them from when you were in school. Teacher comes around, gives everybody a piece of paper with a question on it. You fill out the piece of paper, and as you leave the classroom, you hand the piece of paper to the teacher. The teacher reviews them later and goes like, oh, Johnny doesn't know what we're talking about, so I gotta go talk to Johnny and explain this more to him, right? We're gonna do a digital version of that where a teacher's gonna create a prompt for their students. They're gonna give them a URL. They're gonna log on, enter their answer, and the teacher's gonna review and approve their answer. This has been done by many other applications. We're reinventing it. Hoping to bring pizza. All right, so how do we broadcast stuff? That's really big. Okay, so we're in a controller, and what are we doing here? Oh, that's what we're doing. This is going to be handling the front end. A student hit submit with their answer. We fired off an API call, and we're now in this controller here. This is where we've landed. There's a prompt that we're answering. We're going to new up an answer and forget all about Eloquent's nice relationship stuff and just throw it in there manually with whatever content they have and assign it to the student. And the key here is that we fire an event. So that's the Laravel helper that just kind of dispatches your event. So we fired a new prompt answered with the answer. Here is that event. Up at the top, is that font okay? Or can everybody see that all right? Yeah. Okay. So up at the top, Laravel pulls in a bunch of stuff up at the top to use there, but the most important part is the should broadcast interface. This line is normally not in your event as it's generated, but if you type in implements should broadcast, now you can implement the broadcast on function and tell it, I am broadcasting this on a new private channel, and the key is prompt.this ID, right? With that, because it's a private channel, we have to handle authorization as well. So here in our channels file, we have a channel. We are using that same key, so prompt.id. Laravel gives us the user automatically. Hey. We have an ID of the prompt in this case. We do some authentication, and in our case, we're just going to return true. You can't, if again, easy enough, if the user is not supposed to see this thing, you could just say false or return null, and it won't, it'll stop there, right? Does that make sense so far? Yeah, all right. So in JavaScript land, we're inside of a view component. We say, this is our echo. Yeah, okay, cool. I had the JavaScript part where we pulled in echo, right? Yes. Yeah, I did. Okay. So when this component has been mounted to the window, we go ahead and listen on a private channel. So again, the same key. We're using the ID. And I guess I should explain that. Now we're seeing this as the teacher. So this is like a teacher dashboard. The idea is that as the prompts get answered, they're going to kind of get populated into the application somehow, or into the dashboard somehow. So we're listening on that prompt that the teacher created. We're listening for the prompt answered event. Echo and Laravel and your backend are smart enough to know like what your namespace is and all that. If you have a different namespace, you could configure Echo to understand that or look for that. In our case, we're just going to say, hey, the prompt was answered, and update the answer in the UI. So these could be chained. Here's that entire section that we had up top. Maybe we also have an event that can happen where the student updates their answer, and we still need to update their answer. So we pretty much do the same thing. We're listening for more events than just one, right? Presence channels. Again, the idea of a chat application, status, who's online, looks very similar to what we had before, where before we were returning true or false. Now instead, we're actually going to return an array of properties about the user that's logging in. So in this case, we're just passing in their ID and their name, and we can then capture that on the front end and use it for whatever we need to. In this case, what we're going to do is, instead of saying listen or private, it was private before, I think, we're going to say join. So we're going to say join, again, our same key there. This here function will fire when we successfully log in or get authorized to the channel. We also get passed a collection of the user objects, so we could go ahead and kind of list them out. Of these are the other people that are in the room, for instance. When somebody else joins, you're going to get that same data array that you got before, the ID and the name. That's going to get passed in here, so you can mark them online. As somebody leaves, you could do the same thing in reverse, right? Mark them offline. You get that same user object. Everybody following me so far? Any questions? Good. Cool. Defining what data to broadcast. Oh man, we are flying. I think I'm going to be done in like 10 minutes. We can go get pizza. Defining what data to broadcast. Usually, whatever is a public property on the event will be broadcast to the front end. But if you would like to limit that, you can define a broadcast with method and return an array of properties, keys and values that should be broadcast there. So, you know, let's just say like an answer, I don't know, you want to limit the stuff that's going to the front end, you can do that very easily.
So broadcast with and broadcast on are keyword, right?
Yeah, so these are going to be the methods actually, and this is that broadcast with would pretty much go like right below here. So broadcast on is going to get, the event's going to go through here and it's going to say, hey, I need a broadcast, where am I broadcasting? And it's going to know this is my key. And then with the broadcast with, it's going to say, hey, is there a broadcast with method? And it's going to go, oh, hey, there is. So what information should I be actually using? If this isn't here, then it's just going to say, is there a broadcast with method? No. Throw the entire answer in this case, or answer, or whatever other public properties there are, just throw those all to the front end. Does that make sense? Broadcasting only to others. Chat applications, or another, always a chat application, right? A good example, let's just say you type out a message, you hit send. On the in your JavaScript code, you automatically push that into the message list, and then you fire the API request, like you don't wait for it to come back. If you were to be listening to that same channel, you would end up doubling up your messages, right? Because it was, you pushed it there and then it came back. If you need to broadcast only to other people, you could use this, just chain on that to others call, and whoever broadcasts the event will be removed from the people that get the broadcast. I hope that makes sense. Broadcast can be used like, anybody know about broadcast? I should probably already know this, but from my understanding, broadcast and event are kind of similar, like you could use them interchangeably, unless you want to use broadcast to others, because I don't think you could say event to others. You have to say broadcast to others. So does broadcast also fire like all your listeners and everything? Like I'm assuming it'd be the same, right? I'm assuming it will be. We'll go with that. It'll just work. Let's go with it. Client events. You could also kind of do things with Echo and not have to go back to the server. So you could say, again, we're using a chat application. This is directly from the docs, but if you want to like notify that this person is typing on any chat application that you see nowadays, when they're typing, you could whisper that to the channel and then listen for that whisper event and pop the little typing icon in there, and then when they stop typing, that'll go away. Kind of, you have to, I don't know. I was looking into this because that I couldn't really. I was like trying to wrap my head around that when I actually figured out. Like, was thinking, how is this really going to work when it stops? What Pusher had a blog post where they talked about making a chat application, and they put just like a set time out there, so they would listen for the like say, hey, are they still typing? And they're not, so we remove those. Does that make sense? I feel like I ramble sometimes. I do ramble sometimes, but hopefully you guys are following me. Notifications. You can fire notifications in your Laravel application, and those can be broadcast as well. I have no examples of those. Before we get to questions, I'll kind of show you some front-end stuff. Then anybody else want to present on something? We got like an hour. Did we see that? Okay. All right, so we got slips. Okay. Don't judge me on this. It's so bad. And also, there's that new front-end framework going around for CSS, the Bulma. It's cool in the docs, and then you start to use it, and you go like, I'm just gonna use Bootstrap from now on. Oh god, I'm really embarrassed showing you guys some of how bad this is. But so we have some questions here. This is like the teacher view. I don't know why I'm already logged in as a teacher. That was kind of weird. So let's just say this is what the dashboard looks like, or I'm sorry, the prompt looks like for a teacher, and we have 3 students that we are expecting to get an answer from, right? So we have a new window, and we're gonna do prompts. What are we on? 3, and we have some. Let's do Myra. Cool. So now we have a little event in the background that was sent. Basically, we have a presence channel running. So now Myra is shown online. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the best way to show that is. Let's open up consoles. Consoles everywhere. Oh, perfect. So here. Myra in the student view joined the room. So that presence channel, that join, we get that collection of users. We know that Mr. Teacher, who is that other window over there, and Myra are now online. So we can update our UI with that. And I just did a console dump there, so that's why that's there. We also have this is kind of cool. We have an application called Talented Field and debug console. Let's throw this down here. Wait, what? There we go. Okay, so let me see if we like refresh the view over here. We can see Pusher caught some events, right? We got the disconnection, and then we have a person was removed. Then Myra came back online. We just refreshed, right? And we have a presence event where they came back online. We also see that she subscribed to prompt with the ID of 3. Does that make sense so far? That's kind of nice. Here we are over here. Oops, over here. Let me see. I think that's right. It's been a while since I was in history class. So she's going to say, my answer is France. We're going to send it over. It gets caught. That API call goes to our Laravel application. Laravel fires an event from our controller saying, hey, the prompt was answered. We broadcast that event to anybody that's listening, and the teacher is listening. So we get answer updated over here. Myra's answer comes up. I did some change over here to say like, hey, it's in pending mode. When we say approve, answer approved, and we could see down here that answer updated. That's weird. But events are firing and push is catching them, right?
That was what you answered.
I think so. Why would it be answer updated though?
When they put in a new one or updated it, that was in your code before.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I thought it would be prompt answer. Whatever. Hey, it kind of works, right? Yeah, so I had another idea where you would be able to like say like, no, that's not right. You could send that back, and then over here we would catch it. The idea is the same, right? We're throwing things all around, catching them in JavaScript, and doing stuff. Some of the code behind the scenes, which again is terrible. We are in the teacher view section. Presentation mode. All right, so this is in the when we mount the view component. We log on to, we fire an echo event here, so we're listening for prompt, and we know what our key is. In this case, it's 3. And the teacher, what the? Man, okay, yeah. I wrote this in a daze, I guess. Anyways, so as things happening, we're listening for the events and we're updating stuff. And so we're listening, in this case, for 3 different events. And we also join a presence channel on this same ID. Why don't we get the... Wow, okay. So anyways, yeah, my code in the slide was cleaner than this. But that's an example of what it is. In this case, we just, if a person joins, we find their ID in the console, or in the application, or I'm sorry, what am I talking about? A person joins, we find them in our collection of users, and we mark them as online. That little notification icon, or presence icon, I should say, in the application changes to online, right? In the student view, we're doing something very similar. I take that back. This is really just the presence channel. So this is just a way for the person to say that they're online to the teacher. Does that make sense? Hope so.
They're also listening to all the other students there.
They are, right. But in this case, we're not really doing anything with it. There's probably some security stuff around that you'd want to consider. I didn't really put much thought into, but in this case, our student view isn't doing anything with that information. I suppose, no, never mind. So, yeah, are there any questions?
What is user exactly? Is it a username or a user ID?
In which, where?
They call the arguments in your functions. There's this user.
Oh, yeah. So, so this is our, let's see here, back to presentation mode. This is our student view. So you're asking about this one right here?
This user, this is
Yes. So, oh wow, that is hard to see. Okay, so these are consoles. Sorry. This is users. So when I join the channel, when this student joins the channel, we're going to get a collection of users that are already in that channel, so we can mark them online or do whatever we need to do. Joining, when somebody else joins the channel, I'm going to get their user object. So it's just an object with whatever we passed in. Yeah. And we can see that over here. So we come into the, wait, oh yeah. No, I did that multiple times. So, yeah, in this case it is. But you could define whatever you want. In this case, I just call them users. If elephants are entering your room or whatever, you could call them elephants. I don't know.
Is that passing the methods on those broadcasts?
Yep. That is. Am I going to the right place? Yes. So this is joining. Instead of returning a true false, we actually return an array. So ID and username in this case. Do you have a question? No. In this case, Laravel just throws that in there already. That's coming from here, actually. So this is, you said prompt answered, the actual event? So, oh, what fires it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Answer controller? Oh, this is junky. Oh, that's right. Oh, I have messed up logic here. Answer updated. It gets lost in this junk somewhere. Again, this is really hacked together. So we ended up firing this one, right? Because if not, prompt has response from user. I flipped around some stuff. In this case, they always have an answer because they're generated when the teacher creates the answer. So we never enter this block as the code is right now. We come down here and we update it with their content, and then we fire the event. That's what happens. So that gets caught. So that fires. In that case, we're firing an answer updated. We have the answer that gets pulled in right away, and we have broadcast on, and we're still going to the same channel. So, yeah, that makes sense. Now it makes sense. Code's wrong. Code works. Probably should be. Yeah, that was kind of weird for me too. You're thinking about this section here, right? I don't know if making it. Yeah, that makes sense. The one thing that I just didn't really experience or experiment with, but was that whisper, that echo whisper, or listen for whisper, or listen, whatever that was, because really, like what the blog post that they had for Pusher did was they had a input that they modeled, and every time, like on every key down, they would fire an event or fire a method that would like set the timeout for a little bit longer or whatever. It was weird. It made sense, I guess, but I feel like there's a better way to do that, but I don't know what it is.
Did you notice something that's firing on those keynotes to
You wouldn't get an API message at that point because the whisper functionality just handles itself within the browser. So, no, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, you would. What? That's weird. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, we still have so much time. Why not take a look at that? What was it? Pusher. I know it was on their blog. Chat room. Yeah. No. pusher, Laravel, view, no, yes, view. Let's see if that pops it up. Man, you guys are just watching me browse the internet. What am I going to do here with, I mean, Eric and John leave, and the meetup becomes me just browsing the internet. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what they do here. So write something to all users. They have an input. They model it with a new message and on key up. Wait, what? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Son of a bitch. But yeah, but this isn't the one either. Killing me. Do we still care? I can keep looking. I just don't know if I'm boring everybody. Real-time table.
So on Mr. Teacher's screen, when the answer was published, or answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was given what a student answered to a group or sent back, right? That's displayed back for the view component.
Yes, if I had implemented it, but I didn't. But yes, that's the idea, and it would kind of follow the same
But
concept.
it just showed up right on the screen that, hey, that was.
Oh yeah, in that case, yes, yeah, and that's just a view component. We have a for each loop. Oh, not that. A for each loop here, or the teacher view. If they're online, terrible if else. Yes, if else. Hey, so there we go. So we have a loop that loops through all of our student, and as soon as they have content, so we say we add the content from the user to the, explain this weird. So we have we have a loop, right? We're going to just display all the answers. So normally it would come in and it would look like a bunch of these for Myra, Alex, Randy. Right. We just have a conditional right now that says we don't have any content for Alex and Randy, so we hide those. But as they come in, those would turn to true because we set content to whatever it is. So this goes, hey, that is true. Dump it into the list there. That makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of hacky. Set time. I was, and then yes, I might. I don't know. I might.
With that same concept, you could have a chart saying the number of answers, and that chart gets updated.
Right. Exactly. So really, it's just that data is whatever data that you need to bring over from your Laravel application, you could send to the front end and have Echo catch it and do something with it.
The JavaScript variables have to be matched, right?
The JavaScript
I never define those, right?
for like when you're saying what you listen on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would match
So
exactly.
that has to be an exact.
Right. And that's basically how it knows, like, hey, this is the event or I should be listening to this event, and and it pulls those in as they come out. That's a weird phrase. I'll find that article. I'll send it over. I really just skimmed it, so I don't really remember exactly what it looked like. But they had they had an example of the typing functionality implemented. So, yeah. Any other questions? You guys want to grab some pizza or something at the bar? We got time. Well, thank you. I hope it was informative. Yeah. Normally now, I would walk out and say, all right, give it up for this person, and, but I'm also the presenter, so now I awkwardly put my laptop away or something, I don't know. We can mingle. Let's mingle, let's talk. We got